God, we needed that, huh? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. And, well, we needed that win, didn't we? I mean, yes, it was against a poor Spurs side. Yes, they didn't take opportunities, but we need to talk about us because for the first time, and this is the biggest news out of all of them, 3 points is the first news because that's massive. Why? Because, secondly, that takes us out of the relegation zone. Um, This is probably the only table. Again, stop the count. Leicester City are not in the relegation zone. End the season now because 15 more games we've got to try and complete the season. Let's talk about the game because this is probably the most important thing. Let's be honest. We're outside the relegation zone. We're only 1 point in it. The run of formers works against us. It looks like the Wolves are kind of stumbling. It looks like Ipswich aren't really picking up, and they've just lost to. They've played Man City and they've played Everton. Sorry, Everton. They've played Liverpool and they played Man City, and they've got trounced by both of them. What that means for them is that there isn't really much of an opportunity. Their goal difference has come down, but we need that win to take us out. And yes, this isn't. There is signs that there are problems still. And there was things that I thought weren't that great, to be honest. But look, we got the win. And what I loved, we'll get in second half of some of the dark hearts we played. You could see what Rude was doing in the game. You could see what he was building. In the first half, it was a bit slow. It was a bit ponderous. I thought, can we get at them, lads? In the first 20 minutes, El Canous really was like, he was a bright, shining star, as we all know. And it seemed like every time we'd pass to Jordan Ayew, it would be like he's trying, but he's running in treacle. Deco Reed came in. So for that, let me get into the formations because people were having an absolute meltdown. First of all, because again, Justin played again. Koulibaly wasn't fit to start, or for some reason he didn't start. We'll come into that because he did come into the game, didn't really notice much. So it's back four of the team that got relegated, and people were absolutely blowing up. Then the other thing to note, Vardy kept his place, not too surprising. The midfield three, El Canous, again, not surprising. Deco ever read one side and Jordan Ayew the other. And I went, oh dear. I went, Rude, I trust you, but if this doesn't pay off, you're going to get slammed. And there's a few opportunities like that throughout the game. If they didn't work out in a certain way, they could have got a lot worse. But let's be honest, going through that, Deco ever read 2 assists. Jordan Ayew, at times he played defensive duties, and especially in the second half, he played the dark arts. He got the fouls, and if that is what's going to get us through the games, that's all that matters. Now, let's be honest, that was a poor Spurs side. It really was. But at the end of the day, we got the 3 points, and that is all that matters. The Spurs came into the game. They did look a bit rocky. They took the lead with Walt Fast. I mean, I've just got to mention 32 minutes. Richarlison, and it's the most basic of errors from how many times have we say that individual issues that leads the team. And Richarlison, again, loses the ball. Fast just loses, man. And Richarlison's free just to slot it in. Great cross. I think it was by Porro or somebody. Can't remember who it was. But I was thinking, but we know that Tottenham will take the lead and then they'll lose the game. Overall, Richarlison, again, the goal, I was thinking, so avoidable, man. And I'm hoping we're linked to that. I forgot what his name is now. From AC Milan. I think he's like Serbian or something. And Endinic, can't remember, Patrovic or something. I'm hoping he comes in because, my God, I think if we get another central defender and he's of decent quality, that can be the difference with us staying in the league because these little decisions are costing us. Up to that point, we were all right. There was an opportunity where it was offside. I think it was a ball across, and Christensen just left it. Yes, it was offside, but I'm like, come on, man. Why are you leaving the ball? You've put all your defenders in danger. You know Yannick Vestergaard's not good on the return. Walt Faster's got a mistake in him. James Justin's got a mistake in him. That he just left the ball. And I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? And I don't want to get off the team too much, but I'm like, if we want to stay in this league, we have to get these mistakes out of our side. And I feel sad saying the same thing again and again. And I don't want to shout at the team too much because we've won. But I'm looking at it long term. And that back four is shaky. It's really shaky. We'll come on to Koulibaly in just a bit. Then we go in second half, and I was thinking, oh God, it's going to be one of those games where Leicester City try, and we weren't. I think we were worse in this game, even compared to the Villa game. I think as passions of parts of play, etc., we were actually we were actually decent. And we were actually worse against. This is the worst game, I'd say. I'm not going to count the Fulham game or the Crystal Palace game for part of that for a second, because them two teams are a different caliber. Yes, I know Tottenham are down the bottom, but they're a top six team. When we talk about the top six, I'm comparing them to an Aston Villa. I'm comparing them to a Man City and then against Liverpool, and we saw how we were kind of getting at them a little bit in those games. This was the poorest of all those games I mentioned. That was the poorest first half. And I was thinking, hopefully we can come back in. And it's something that we've asked for. And within 58 seconds, Vardy's put one away. Dico Devery, again, it was a really good play. Samori did some really good play, getting the ball quickly and then hustling. Right, I'm going to make a run into the box. And that does create the space. Dico Devery gets the ball and puts a beautiful cross in. Jamie Vardy nearly scuffs his lines. I was thinking, but he's lucky the ball bounces there and he puts it in the back of the net. And I was thinking, oh, thank God. We needed that, because how many times have we said, normally it's the other way around. Early second half, we turn off and the opposition just comes and steamrolls us. Thankfully, we do that, because overall, we needed this. And there was when the goal went in, I was like, oh, thank God it's gone in. Okay, we've scored, because let's be honest, we haven't scored in quite a while. So the fact that we scored a goal was good. Tottenham were asleep. Tottenham defensively were all over the place. They didn't wake up from the half time. I think that's going to be Ange's last game in charge, and I think that's a positive. Hear me out, because they're not going to play this bad if they get rid of him. We're going to get another manager in, and he's going to be better. And hopefully they'll get to play people around us with a stronger team rather than us. El Khanous, again, for the second goal. Again, Samori did another good run there. Deco Reed gets it, and then El Khanous passes it across, and El Khanous is just charging, looking. He's got one thing on his mind, and he's just looking for the right positioning. Look left, look right, find it, put it in the bottom corner. Brilliant. And I was like, we're on cloud nine. All of us are going, we're going mental at this point. Spurs were really poor, and I think that's important to mention. However, you can only play who's in front of you. And they reminded me of a team before that the Premier League has come on, and it's strengthened so much, and we haven't. But we've just capitalized on Spurs being so poor. There was throughout the game. It was, if we're honest and just being completely objective, it was a poor game. Silly passes from both oppositions, and you can understand why. Number one, because Spurs have played and they've got their squad has been nuked, so they're playing like under players that have never played for the Premier League before. They also played on Thursday, so they've had to play certain players that are tired. Even then, they were poor. Spurs sides of the past, or even the team that played against us at the beginning of the season, this looks very different. And I'm so glad we got the win, but we can't say, rest on our laurels. There are genuine problems with this squad, and we do need some reinforcements before the end of the window, because it's not looking pretty. James, then there was other bits where James Justin, I think in the first 10 minutes, got turned inside. That makes some clumsy challenge to Archie Gray. Not to get a yellow, but I'm like, come on, man, you can do better than this. And I was thinking, okay. And then at 70 minutes, James Justin has a silly foul, and then I was thinking, okay, he's on a yellow now. Let's bring on Koulibaly. I know we're 2-0 up and we need to control the game, but I was waiting for the sub of him. Then I thought it would be 60 minutes, and then it kept going. And then the 70 minutes, JJ got a yellow card. I think, okay, that's an opportunity to change. Kept going. And then 67 minutes, again, Spurs were a bit unlucky. They hit the post a couple of times. It just wasn't their day. But I'm glad, because, look, we needed those points. When we come to just the subs come on, I was thinking, okay, who's coming on? And you can see El Khanous come down with a bit of cramp. You're thinking, okay, it's probably going to be him. There wasn't too many people kicking off for that. Vardy came on. Vardy came off for Daka. I think Daka did too much in the game, ran around a bit, didn't really offer too much. And then El Canus came off for Buonanotte. And we've seen previously with reports, etc. I've not covered it because again, there's so much going on. Job Price is doing some really good journalism at the moment, but I just had the time to cover it. For Buonanotte, El Canus for Buonanotte. And there are, there's obvious things with Buonanotte's been in the news because apparently Ruud had a go at him. But with what we've done, for example, with Buonanotte, with El Canus, I thought, okay, that's a light for light substitution. Did we notice too much of the game? I think he was kind of poor. Within the first minute, within the first 20 seconds, he gets a yellow card. He's thinking, oh, God, it was an unnecessary foul as well. Put himself on the yellow, and you can understand a little bit why Ruud's having to go at him because that's just not. We don't need to do that. And yes, he's young, but he just looks like a different player to what he was at the beginning of the season. And then later on, he's giving the ball away for Spurs within a minute. I was thinking, oh no, that's not a good sign. We can't get away with this. And we did get away with it eventually, so I'm glad we did. Then afterwards, and something I put after that, before the second lot of subs came on, Leicester City decide to play the dark arts and whatever it takes to get points in this game. It's not about the perfect play. It's just about taking opportunities and just play and just again running down the clock. And we did. Stolarczyk ran around the clock with an ankle injury, which was again he recovered relatively quickly from when he was standing up. He wasn't holding his ankle or anything. Jordan Ayew, Mr. Foul, isn't he? He always going down, always going foul. But the thing is, that's what we need from the team. Then afterwards, 86 minutes, really interesting that he brought off Deacon over Reed. I think because he was on a yellow and he was kind of like, if he kept going, it would have brought him off as well. And Ayew. But the difference is, normally you think, okay, bring in Mafadini on the left and bring in, Buonanotte, put it to right and bring somebody else on or something. So he brings on Oliver Skip, which I thought, okay. Well, I saw Skip one. I thought it was going to be a direct swap for Harry Winks because he went in for a rugby tackle on I think it was Archie Gray as well. And Connor Cody. So I was thinking, okay, we're going to a back foot five just to see out the game. Let's see what we can do. So we saw out the game a little bit. And finally, at 94 minutes, James Justin comes off and Woyo Koulibaly comes on. Some people might disagree. I was thinking, I would expect to see him a bit sooner. But look, as long as it works, as long as we've got the team going, that's absolutely fine. Stolarczyk, I want to get into in terms of the man of the match. And for me, El Canus is going to get the credit. I was going to give Stolarczyk his credit for the I was going to give El Canus a mention. Because that thumbnail you've probably seen, it's so good, isn't it? But I wanted to give Stolarczyk man of the match. Such a good performance today. When called upon, he delivered. It wasn't really his fault for the goal. Because it was more on an individual error from Walt Fast. But he's been under crap. Not because he's been crap, just because of the situation around and defenders letting him down. And he's performed well, considering he's not had a Premier League experience before this. I think he's performed well. Today he was venerated for that. Yes, he didn't get his clean sheet, but he got the 3 points. I think this will do him confidence going into the next game. I'm really happy for him. And for me, again, man of the match. Jamie Vardy was a good mention. Diego Reed again getting two assists, and I think he took his assists really well. I didn't think he was that great. I don't see what he offers that much of a Mavididi. And I've said for a while that I don't know if Mavididi is a Championship player or a Premier League player. People were complaining before, but something needed to change. And there's no point in playing the same team game in, game out when there's going to be issues. Do you think he could have kept his place? Probably against the next game. Would he keep his place over Mavididi? Yes. I would say so. Ayew coming in, but I still see Ayew as a finisher, not a starter. But look, if we get these next points, if we go to Everton and miraculously, if we get 3 points, we're in heaven and we're dreaming because the teams down the bottom are just losing. And if we look at the Premier League table at the moment, we need to be looking. At the moment we should be looking down. We should say the two teams are 2 points below us. I still think we'll go down, but we need to be looking up. And again, Everton are there, just a place above us. Tottenham, I think they'll be fine. Manchester United are in free fall at the moment. Let's look at the form. Let me actually have a look at the form table. Can I just scroll out a little bit? So if we look at the form table again, it does not look pretty, um, because ours is the worst. Ours is the absolute worst. But again, this result kind of changes things. But we look at this and we go, okay, we can see Southampton had done. Ipswich lost again, but look at the goal difference now. Leicester on 24, Ipswich on 26. I'd love to catch Wolves and move that down to the lower 20s, 20 or lower, and hopefully Wolves get battered. I don't mind Wolves, but we just anything we need to stay safe. But I do still think we'll be brought back into it. It just depends on what happens in the Wolves window, and also what's the honeymoon period like with Pereira, with their manager as well. Tottenham, I think, will sack their manager, but we need to be looking up, and I'm hoping, because if we can close that gap, and if Tottenham, if Wolves lose, Ipswich lose, and then if we can get a win against Everton, this will make a world of difference to take the pressure off us. We're in the 20s at that time. There are still problems with this team. There are still basic errors and basic issues that they're not getting right, and I'm hoping that this just gives a little bit of confidence. But I still think we need a centre back. Ideally, we'd get a centre back, and we'd get a left wing, and we'd get a left back as well. But for now, for what we've got, let's just see what we can do. By the end of but by that game, the window would have closed. The couple of things I'm picking up on is, again, sloppy mistakes. El Canus, again, I'll give El Canus his flowers, but at the same time, he was making some silly mistakes and silly positions. There was another opportunity where Samore was actually doing all right in the game. Harry Winks was giving the ball away in silly positions. And I'm like, lads, if we want to stay in the league, we need to stop this. And I'm hoping that we do. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I'm still kind of raw. I'm still kind of like I still think we will end up going down, but we need to stay and hopefully build on this momentum. But I said that against QPR. Let's see what happens, But that was a very poor Tottenham team. I think we need to be wary of that. However, 3 points are 3 points. End the season now. We'll be safe, and hopefully we'll be able to sort out that. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. See you all in the next video. So goodbye.